deadly of the 7 deadly sins. The emphasis was on selfless love for God and neighbor. However, thinkers like Augustine saw pride not as true self-love but as a perversion of a more moderate and natural self-regard. Build Circle 17th–18th century philosophy, Enlightenment thinkers began to re-examine the concept. Jean-Jacques Rousseau made a crucial distinction between a Montessori, the natural and healthy drive for self-preservation, and a more propre, a form of self-esteem dependent on the opinions of others, which he saw as a source of corruption. Build Circle Modern Psychological Perspective. The 20th century saw a significant positive re-evaluation of self-love. Psychoanalyst Erich Fromm argued powerfully that genuine self-love, which includes care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge of oneself, is not selfish arrogance but is, in fact, the necessary foundation for the ability to truly love others. Similarly, humanistic psychologists like Carl Rogers saw a quiet sense of pleasure in being one's own self, as a hallmark of a psychologically healthy individual. The spectrum of self-love, from foundational self-care to deep self-regard. Self-love is not a monolithic concept but exists on a spectrum. At one end are the foundational, action-oriented practices of self-care, choosing to eat well, exercise, and cultivate healthy relationships. At the other end lies a profound, unconditional state of self-regard and acceptance. This deeper form of self-love serves as a powerful intrinsic motivator for making healthy life choices, as holding oneself in high esteem naturally leads to choosing things that nurture and serve one's well-being. This overarching quality of self-love functions as both a consequence of and a catalyst for the other 3 pillars. When an individual develops radical self-trust, deep self-awareness, and consistent self-compassion, the emergent psychological state is one of authentic self-love. Conversely, a conscious commitment to self-love, to prioritizing one's own well-being, provides the powerful motivation needed to engage in the sometimes difficult work of building self-awareness, taking the courageous leap required for self-trust, and offering oneself compassion through the process. It is both the destination of this inner growth and the fuel for the journey. The interwoven tapestry, how these qualities synergistically reinforce each other. Radical self-trust, self-awareness, self-compassion, and self-love are not isolated states but are deeply interwoven, forming a dynamic and synergistic system. Progress in any one of these areas invariably supports and amplifies the others, creating a virtuous, self-reinforcing cycle that leads to a more integrated and resilient self. Understanding this interplay is key to appreciating their collective power. A. Self-awareness as the illuminating force. Self-awareness serves as the foundational element, the illuminating force that provides the essential data for the other qualities to function effectively. A clear and honest understanding of one's own thoughts, feelings, values, needs, and intuitive signals is the starting point. Without this clarity, radical self-trust becomes aimless, as there is no clearly defined self in which to place one's trust.